what if one app controlled your favorite K-dramas, anime, WWE, Game of Thrones, and even the Premier League all at once? Because that's the future Netflix is building with its massive Warner Bros. Deal and new live sports push. And it might be either the smartest move in streaming history or the start of a scary monopoly. Netflix already has a lot of content, and they don't just focus on one language. They deliberately chase global audiences by betting big on non-English hits like Squid Game, K-pop Demon Hunters, and Korean genre shows that pull in viewers from every continent. For anime and otaku culture, Netflix has gone after titles and live-action adaptations that speak directly to that fanbase, with major franchises like the One Piece live-action sitting alongside a big anime catalog. They built this brand identity. No matter what language you speak, Netflix has something for you. And they didn't just stop at movies and shows. Recently, Netflix took a massive step into live entertainment by signing a long-term, multi-billion-dollar deal to become the new home of WWE's Monday Night Raw starting in 2025. Raw moves exclusively to Netflix in the US, Canada, the UK, and Latin America, with Netflix also carrying other WWE shows and big premium live events like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble in many markets. Yes, you heard that right. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and the entire WWE machine are shifting from traditional TV to a streaming platform that's already in over 260 million households worldwide. That instantly turns Netflix from just another streamer into a weekly live appointment destination for wrestling fans. Now, on top of that, Netflix has agreed to buy Warner Bros. Discovery's TV and film studios and its streaming division, including the HBO-style premium content and a giant library, for about $72 billion in equity value, or roughly $27.75 per share. This deal came after a weeks-long bidding war, where Netflix outbid rival groups like Paramount, Skydance, and Comcast for these assets. In simple terms, Netflix isn't buying every single cable channel under Warner Bros. Discovery. The TV networks like CNN and other linear channels are set to be spun off into a separate company, while Netflix gets the studios and streaming, plus the vast content library. The transaction is expected to take around 12 to 18 months to close, subject to regulators and Warner Bros. Discovery's shareholders signing off, and Netflix is targeting $2 to $3 billion a year in cost savings a few years after completion. What does that mean in terms of shows and IP? It means Netflix would control Warner Bros.' legendary film and TV studios, HBO and its shows, DC content, and sports brand TNT Sports, depending on how final asset splits shake out. That brings under one roof iconic franchises such as Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon DC Universe, titles like Joker and other superhero films, the Harry Potter movie series and related spin-offs, a deep catalog of classic films and series spanning decades. On the wrestling side, Warner's portfolio currently includes AEW's TV presence through TNT and TBS in the US. If Netflix ultimately controls the studio side plus sports-related rights structures through TNT Sports, there is a realistic scenario where one streaming giant has direct ties to WWE via its own deal and indirect leverage or negotiation power over AEW's future home. Even if AEW isn't automatically part of the first wave of assets, the signal is clear. Netflix wants to sit at the main table for both scripted and live sports entertainment. And Netflix's ambition doesn't stop at wrestling. After missing out on a major UEFA Champions League package in some markets, industry reports now suggest Netflix is exploring future bids for domestic football rights, with particular interest around the Premier League as contracts come up in later cycles. The idea would be to grab a slice of live English football, the most-watched league in the world, and plug it straight into a global streaming platform that already hosts blockbuster series and WWE. That means Netflix is trying to break into top-tier football via the Premier League, building on earlier attempts to enter European football rights and its growing interest in live sports. If a future deal happens, you could see Premier League stars like Erling Haaland, Cole Palmer, Mohamed Salah, and Bruno Fernandes playing live on Netflix on the weekend, just like WWE's Monday Night Raw anchors their weekly schedule. So stack this vision together: global K-dramas and Japanese thrillers, massive anime and live-action franchises, WWE Raw and premium wrestling events, Warner Bros. And HBO-level prestige dramas like Game of Thrones, potential future Premier League football coverage. This is not just a streaming catalog anymore, it's Netflix trying to become the default home screen for global entertainment and sport. From a viewer's perspective, a successful Warner Bros. Acquisition plus live sports expansion has some big upsides. First, it massively simplifies where you watch things. Instead of paying for HBO Max or Discovery Plus or separate sports subscriptions, a lot more of the world's premium content would sit in one app. For casual fans, that's convenient. Open Netflix and everything from fantasy epics to wrestling to possibly the Premier League is right there. Second, the scale could unlock bigger budgets and riskier creative bets. A combined Netflix-Warner library means Netflix can use proven IP like Game of Thrones, DC, and Harry Potter to anchor subscriber growth while still investing in global originals from Korea, India, Europe, and Latin America. With an ambition to save billions in costs, yet still chase growth, they can cross-promote. Imagine a new anime launching on the same platform that hosts the biggest Western fantasy and superhero brands, instantly giving it visibility. Third, live sports like WWE and potentially the Premier League push Netflix into appointment viewing instead of pure binge culture. That can stabilize subscriber churn and encourage fans to stay long-term, which, if managed well, could translate into better tech, features, and even new viewing experiences like alternate feeds, behind-the-scenes content, or interactive tools built on top of these rights. But here's the flip side: concentration of power. If Netflix controls its own massive originals, plus Warner Bros.' studios and streaming and major live rights, it becomes one of the most dominant gatekeepers of what billions of people watch. Regulators are already expected to scrutinize the deal for antitrust concerns, and rival bidders like Paramount have raised alarms about competition issues. When one platform owns too much, several risks pop up. Prices can creep higher because fewer serious competitors exist with comparable catalogs. Content can disappear from rival services as licenses expire, forcing viewers to stack subscriptions or accept a single ecosystem. Smaller studios and independent creators may find it harder to negotiate fair deals if one buyer dominates the premium market. There's also the creative risk. To hit those projected cost savings of $2 to $3 billion annually after the Warner deal closes, Netflix will be under pressure to cut overlaps, streamline staff, and cancel underperforming projects more aggressively. That could affect experimental shows, niche anime, or region-specific series that don't drive huge global numbers but matter deeply to certain communities. And for wrestling and football, having one mega platform in charge could mean less leverage for leagues, talent, and fans. If Netflix locks down WWE, potentially influences AEW's future, and then wins big football packages, negotiating power shifts heavily toward one company. That can change kickoff times, blackout rules, and even how clips circulate on social media. So is Netflix acquiring Warner Bros. And chasing sports rights good or bad? The honest answer? It's both, depending on where you sit. For fans who just want everything in one place, this is a dream scenario: Game of Thrones, anime, K-dramas, WWE, and maybe Haaland vs. Mbappe on a Tuesday night, all inside one app. For the industry, it's a power shift. Streamers were supposed to break the old cable monopolies, but this deal is a sign that streaming is consolidating into a few super platforms with giant bundles of content and sports rights. Whether that leads to better storytelling and fan experiences, or higher prices and fewer choices, will depend on how regulators, competitors, and audiences respond over the next few years. So, now over to you. Is Netflix's Warner Bros. Takeover and sports push the ultimate entertainment power play, or the first step toward a scary streaming monopoly? Comment your take. Are you excited to watch Game of Thrones, WWE, and future Premier League nights on one platform, or worried about one company owning too much of what we watch? If you want daily breakdowns of massive media deals, sports rights wars, and the future of streaming, hit like, smash subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next episode.